Colonial Sports Center.
Of Colonial Sports Center. My name is Kevin Plaucha.
And I'm Cam Macariola.
There was a loaded last week of Colonial Sports despite some inclement weather lately.
Yeah, a ton going on, a lot of news to break. Teams aren't even in their season anymore, but we still got news to break. And we'll start off with the RMU women's ice hockey team as Elena Giampetro was named to the USCHO all-rookie team. And that just goes with the rest of her accolades she brought in this season. CHA Rookie of the Year, All CHA Second Team, CHA All Rookie Team, 2 Rookie of the Months, and 4 CHA Rookie of the Weeks. She has just been phenomenal this season. 19 goals, 12 assists, 31 games played, and talk about the clutch gene she has. 4 game-winning goals and 3 multi-goal games. She was the first player since Reagan Kirk in 2020 to make the USCHO all-rookie team.
Yeah, it was a huge season for the redshirt freshman. Obviously, you saw her large list of accomplishments. 31 points. That ranked the 4th most among rookies across the country. 8 multi-point efforts, 3 power play goals, 26 block shots. I mean, she was everywhere. 2 goals and 2 assists in the CHA semifinal series at Mercyhurst. So despite just being a redshirt freshman, you can see there she was a major instant impact player.
Yeah, and she had some a little internal competition with her fellow rookie Janelle Evans. They were going back and forth with Rookie of the Weeks all season long, but just to be named USCHO All-Rookie Team is a huge honor for her.
It absolutely is. Now, before all this rain moved in over the last few days, the softball team was able to get a doubleheader played against IUPUI last Friday, closing out a 3-game series. We've got highlights back-to-back from both games as the Colonials look to increase their winning streak to 5 and 6, respectively. Colonials versus Jaguars at the North Athletic Complex. Game number 1, beginning in the 4th inning. Runner on second, no outs. It's Catalina Saxon. She pokes one up the middle, gets by the infield. Elena Kutsogianni from second beats the throw home. It's an RBI single for Saxon. Game is tied at 1, bottom of the 4th inning. Next batter, 0-2 count. Charlotte Grover launches one into deep left field, finds the gap. That scores the pinch runner Julia Ehrman all the way from first. The throw-in skips past the cutoff. Grover gets to second for an RBI double. 2-1 Colonials. After a walk to Courtney Pulich, it's going to be 2 on and nobody out for catcher Meadow Sacadora. And she's going to blast one to deep center. There's the wind-up, the pitch. She blasts one with 2 on, nobody out to deep center. That finds the wall. Sacadora picks up an RBI single. Colonials lead 3-1. Still nobody out. It's turning into a nightmare 4th inning for the Jaguars. Jasmine Speth comes in for the Jaguars, trying to limit the damage, but it gets worse. A wild pitch from Speth allows Pulich to score from third. A 4-run 4th inning for the Colonials. They would use that to propel themselves to a 6-1 win in game number 1.
And here we go for game number 2, second game. And we have freshman Kalani Tacho on the mound and Kenny Cohen, RBI single for her, shoots it right back at Tacho to give the Jaguars a 1-0 lead early. But we have Meadow Sacadora at the plate, and she will rip a liner through the gap and into the left field. Colonials will tie it. Grover scores head first into the slide, dust in the air, dirt in the air. Try to pick off the runner at second, but she is safe in time. We move on later. Charlotte Grover with the pitch and smokes this one, a little blooper just out of the reach of the shortstop, bringing home Resnick, who gives the Colonials a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Big 2-out play there by Grover. Then we take a look at this play. It will be remembered. Resnick diving, stretching out to Grover in time to get the out and keep one runner on. What a play by Resnick. We will be seeing it later, and we'll be seeing it again right now. Look at that play, diving out, stretching out, dealing with the bumps on the RMU softball field, and just reeling that one in. And then top of the 7th, 2 out. We got a Ken Calvert single, but the throw keeps the runner at third. The just a few feet away from tying the game. The Jaguars are heated up. And then Madison Duval is on the mound, and McPherson would hit one right back up to her and makes the easy play to first to end the game. The Colonials hold on and avoid another extra innings. They've had a ton this season, taking this one 2-1 and extending their win streak to 6 games in a row.
Big series for the softball team as they were able to complete the sweep. This past Saturday, men's lacrosse was in action at Joe Walton Stadium against the Mercer Bears as they near the midway point of ASUN conference play. RMU had a week to prepare and look to get back in the win column. We've got more highlights from this game against Mercer. Joe Walton Stadium, it's the Colonials versus the Bears. You see the initial face-off there, and we are underway. Jumping ahead to the second quarter, Colonials up 2-1. They're going to work the ball behind the net. River Udmul finds David Burr, who launches it past Bears goalkeeper Colin Kelly for the goal. It's not RMU men's lacrosse unless we mention David Burr. We're going to mention him a lot. A couple minutes later, you see the shot discrepancy there, by the way. 17-7. Colonials work it around to Colin Davis. Jukes out one player. It's Joel McCormick who scores his 4th goal of the season. He's pumped up about it. Colonials extend their lead. Later in the quarter, Chase Cope flies down the right side and flies it past Nate Fexture. Cope's 15th goal of the season for Mercer as they try to fight back into this one. Nearing halftime, Gavin Padone finds River Udbol, who gets past his defender and scores. It's his first career goal for the freshman from New York. Now, if you couldn't get enough of that goal, just wait. The following faceoff, Bo Columbus wins it, passes it left to Elliot Holden, who takes aim, and he scores from long range. 2 goals in 6 seconds. RMU led 7-3 at the half. Third quarter now, you're going to want to keep an eye on the bottom right of the screen. It's an eventful 7 seconds for Joel McCormick. He comes flying in, gets the pass from Elliot Holden, he scores, and immediately gets trucked by Kellen Arthur. Unsportsmanlike conduct there. Keen Moon comes over to defend his guy, but so does Holden, who shoves Arthur, gets an unsportsmanlike conduct of his own. Just a wild sequence here. McCormick just takes a massive hit from Arthur, and you got offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Just over 5 minutes in the third quarter, it's David Burr again. That was his 4th goal of the day. He extends the lead, and that caps off a huge day for him. Mercer would answer, though, as Parker Junod finds Dylan Bush, who goes up top, his 10th goal of the season. Mercer still trails, though, 11-4. Moving to the fourth quarter now, Colonial still with a big lead. Here's an exclamation point. Sees Will McLeod score his 4th goal of the season. The Colonials win by a score of 15-7.
Man, what a performance by the men's team. Women were in action as well at the Joe, and they were taking on Detroit Mercy for some action. Let's hop right into this and see what's going on. RMU comes into this game 9-1 versus the Titans, but Cap Kopchia starting the game early to give the Titans a 1-0 lead, sniping it past Megan Shepley in net for the Colonials. 3-0 towards the end of the first, and you'll see Leah Bodner make it 4-0 for the Titans. Colonials, first quarter issues all year. 55-14, they have been outscored in the first quarter, and that's their 5th scoreless first quarter. But in the second quarter, it's a different story as Elena Lamage makes it 5-2, and we're starting a comeback for the Colonials. They're getting the energy back into it, but give up 2 more to Detroit Mercy, and then you'll see a goal here by Lily Haddon, her 16th of the season. Makes it 7-3 for the Colonials, and then just a few moments later, off the face-off, Colonials win it. Everyone stops for a second except Mackenzie Bell. Her speed takes it down the field, dishes it off into the corner, and then Chelsea Coleman is found in front of the net, scores it. Everyone is excited. Colonials going into halftime only down 3, but Cap Kopchia with another laser of a goal. She just rips it from far out. She scored 4 on the day for the Titans. She was a Titan herself to deal with on defense for the Colonials. But then we have Julia Codavas fights through contact and scores to make it 11-7. take another look at this one. A lot of contact on the way in, fights through that hit. Chelsea Coleman ends up being the one taking the worst out of this, but they're all okay. But the score would not be okay for the Colonials, as you'll see Leah Bodner score her 4th goal of the game off a nasty spin move. And just what a performance by Bodner and Capchia for them. And then Jenna Irwin would finish off the game with a hat trick of her own, but the Colonials would fall 12-9 to Detroit Mercy, moving 9-2 against them all time.
Tough loss for the women's lacrosse team. When we come back, we've got some news about next season's men's basketball home opener, and we take a deeper look at how the transfer portal has impacted both the men's and women's teams. Stay tuned for that and more on CSC.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're still months away, but we are prepping ourselves for the RMU men's basketball season opener as they will be traveling down I-79 for the Battle of the Deemers. As our producer Michael Deemer goes here, his brother goes to West Virginia. They will be there. Mrs. Deemer will be there, and so will CSN for sure. I'm going to put that prediction out there. But what a matchup. What a matchup to start the season.
Yeah, listen, these are two teams that both had some really tough seasons last time. RMU 10-22, West Virginia 9-23. You have that recent coaching change with West Virginia. They hired Darian DeVries away from Drake. They got a nice transfer with Tucker DeVries. But West Virginia leads the all-time series, 19-2. All games played in West Virginia. That's where this one will be played. They were scheduled to play in 2020. That was canceled due to COVID within RMU's program. And the last matchup was 14 years ago in 2010, and WVU won by 33. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Colonials, but they are playing a local team. I've seen a lot of buzz about how RMU should be playing some of the local teams, and they get their wish granted with RMU against West Virginia November 4th, the season opener for the Colonials. Now, speaking of Colonials basketball, a major factor in today's college basketball is the transfer portal, and it's once again wreaked havoc on the Colonials as both basketball teams have seen their fair share of players enter the portal. And we're going to take a look at some of those players that have transferred now, starting with the men's team. Transfer trouble. First off, Jackson Last. He was a solid role player, averaged nearly 6 points per game in his career. Later in his Robert Morris tenure, he was coming from off the bench. Josh Corbin, the archer from deep, nearly 37% from three, offered by nearly 20 schools as of March 23rd. It could be even more now, including Mountain West powerhouse San Diego State. So Josh Corbin definitely going to find a good home. Ben Kriskowiak, he saw limited action, logged a season-high 20 minutes in March against Purdue Fort Wayne. And Stephon Walker, just a major underneath presence for the Colonials last season. He took a step forward in year two, increased his points per game and assist totals. He actually already committed to a new school. He committed to Old Dominion on March 31st. So that's the 4 transfers for men's basketball. On the women's side, you got Paris Kirk. Came off an ACL tear before last season, appeared in 29 games, but her points per game actually decreased. but she did shoot 49% from the floor. Luella Alana started in all 30 games this season, averaged 4 points per game in her RMU tenure. She's a fast, scrappy, solid defender. I think any other team will be very happy to have her. Naomi Barnwell emerged quietly last season, ending up as the third leading scorer, averaging 7 points per game. She set a season high of 19 points back in December over Youngstown State. And Natalie Johnson was a solid player off the bench last season, averaged 4 points per game, and shot 37% from the field. So that's the transfer portal recap for the men's and women's basketball teams. We're going to send it over now to Cam and Garrett Sherwin, who is in studio to talk more about the teams and the transfer portal. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm here with Garrett Sherwin, one of the Sherwin brothers, and we're going to talk about some basketball. And let's hop right into it. Which players, this transfer portal season has been crazy, which players will be missed the most from both teams?
I'm going to start with the women's. I got Luella Alana. She averaged 4, 3, and 3 on 35% shooting. And as Kevin said, she is a lethal defender. She gets up in you, and that's kind of what Coach McCabe wants to do. And then Naomi Barnwell, she averaged 7 and 5 on 39% shooting. Same type of thing. These two girls could anchor a defense, and I think it's a huge loss. As for the men, I got Steph Walker. He averaged 10 and 6 on 50% shooting and 29% from three-point range, but he that increased his 18% from his freshman year from three-point range. And as much as there was kind of a sour ending with Steph Walker, it's kind of a tough way to see a player go when that's kind of the player you would develop maybe 2-3 years ago, and now you just lost him to Old Dominion.
Yeah, he kind of made it clear that he didn't want to be a Colonial at the end of the season. Well, with Walker leaving, what are the biggest holes this men's team need to fill?
I'm going to kind of go back to almost last year when they lost Michael Green III. I think they need a true point guard. I like TJ Wainwright off the bench. He averaged 10 points off the bench. And then Justice Williams as a two guard, I think that fits him best. You know, Coach Toole kind of mentioned this year that he kind of struggles defensively, so I think that would help him kind of take him off the main ball handler. I think they could look to Loyola Maryland's point guard Devin Perry. He's 5'9", quick guard, lethal in the pick and roll. That pick and roll with him and Alfaro Fulgaris would be tough to defend, and he's actually a knockdown shooter in transition. 29% of his points came from 3 in transition. So I think they could look there, and I think that would really help them compete in the Horizon League next year.
Yeah, and as we work our way into acquiring players, the new women's head coach, Chandler McCabe, came out and said, starting today, we're going to develop stronger bonds with the Pennsylvania AAU and high school programs and players. We're going to lock down the best talent in Pittsburgh and keep home talent home. Then she went on to say, I enjoy players who are really versatile and play a lot of different positions. Defense will be first. 3-level scorers, efficient players, our percentages really need to go up significantly. Do you agree with these recruiting tactics? They've been going international in the past, but what's this new process?
Yeah, kind of first on her kind of philosophy, talking about 3-level scorers, kind of being more efficient. You look at school coaches like Nate Oates in Alabama on the men's side, you know, that's kind of what they're doing, and they've been successful. They were in the #1 overall seed last year, and they're in the Final Four this year. So it's very much agreeable to go play that type of style. As for recruiting local talent, I think they can do it. I mean, we have one of the best AAU programs just in our backyard here, the Western PA Bruins. If you could get girls from there to come play for you, you could compete in the Horizon League tomorrow. I agree with it, and they should definitely do it.
Yeah, and bringing in these players, what should the #1 item be for the RMU teams? High schoolers or transfers? Because both play a very important role in today's game.
For the women's, I would definitely go with high schoolers. And not that they can't get transfer portals, but transfer portal acquisitions. I just think it's easier to build a culture around girls from high school. You can kind of mold who you want them to be on the floor, and that's how you build a culture. For the men, I would go into the transfer portal. Coach Toole kind of talked in the press conference after the Oakland game that he kind of needs to build a culture. He wanted to go for kind of better players off the court, and that hasn't necessarily worked. I mean, you look at some of the guys they contacted, they're JUCO national champions or participated in the Final Four. That's what you want. That's where you can build your program around, and I expect them to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, Garrett, thank you so much for joining us. Even though the season's months away, the hype is still high with everything going on. But let's send it back to Kevin Plaucha.
Thanks, guys. When we come back, we've got a preview of this weekend's upcoming football spring game. Stay tuned here on CSC.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one? I gotta go eat, man. Sorry. I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We go from one offseason to another offseason. RMU football, a lot of big news for them this season with them moving into the NEC. But this weekend, we get to see a little bit of a preview with their spring game coming up, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. This Saturday, the football spring game, just a lot of storylines. We got some notable players coming back. Coming off of that 4-7 record in 2023, as you see there, the spring game, Saturday at noon at Joe Walton Stadium. Just some key returners. It's just huge to have Noah Robinson back. He was up there in receiving yards with the entire FCS. The Chickett-Robinson connection was lethal last season. We'll see if Chickett can limit some of the turnover issues that plagued him at points last season, but just huge to have Robinson back.
Yeah, last season was a little bit of an up and down season. I mean, not a lot of expectations from the school itself after the 0-11 season and kicking it off with forgetting their jerseys. But we'll forget about that and we'll look at that 4-7 record. They came back, had some really good games against NEC foe St. Francis, who we'll see again next year. Hopefully another night game, because that was just an electric event. And just the rest of the season kind of played out middle of the way, not too bad, not too good. But let's take a look at some of the notable returners coming back for this year.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Noah Robinson, Anthony Chickett. It's just going to be such a different dynamic with all of these players. Some of them maybe have experienced NEC, but most of them have only experienced the Big South and the OVC. So being able to return to that dynamic where they have seen success in the past. Bernard Clark was voted Coach of the Year in the NEC, led them to a 6-1 conference record in 2019. So, as I mentioned, Robinson and Chickett. Tislam Muhammad on the defensive line, 33 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles. 1 ended up as a scoop and score. Just a lot of interesting pieces coming back that could help propel these Colonials into an even better record this year.
Yeah, not really sure what to expect. It's going to be fun now that they found a home going back to the NEC. But let's move on to men's hockey. They've been in a lot of action in the signing sheets, as a lot of their players have gone on to sign pro contracts in the ECHL. Let's take a look at the Colonials that have gone pro. Both goaltenders, Chad Veltri and Francis Beauvert, get signed. Veltri goes to the Fort Wayne Comets after a phenomenal season. The numbers don't do it justice of how good he was. And then Beauvert with the Solar Bears. What a team name that is. Again, numbers didn't do him justice. His one game, 50 saves for the rookie or first-year player. And then what about the other 3, Kevin?
Yeah, just a really nice list there. 5 players. You see Cade Townend, 38 games played, workhorse, 4 goals, 14 points. He's with the Tulsa Oilers. And then teammates on the Rapid City Rush. You had Riley St. Ong and Mitch Andres, 38 games, actually a total, if you combine them, 71 games played, 11 goals, 13 assists. You see there 84 blocks, but the main star there is Chad Velcher. He was just getting pelted with puck after puck, and he was able to fight through it. So a very nice list of Colonials in the pros. Now we're going to move on from the ice to the links, as just 2 weeks ago, the men's golf team finished third in the Carpetbagger Classic, and they were looking to parlay that success into more at the Cutter Creek Invitational. Let's see how the Colonials fared. In North Carolina, they finished 14th out of 15, 888 total strokes, a final score of plus 24. Coming off that third place finish, not exactly what they were looking for, but still some good experience as they traveled down to Snow Hill, North Carolina. 14th out of 15 in teams, but they did have some nice individual performances. Solid finish for fifth-year Josh Nagy, who finished tied for 24th, finishing at +1. Alex Seelig finished in the top 50 as well, posting a score of +6. That is how the Colonials golf team did in the Cutter Creek Classic.
You know, I tried going to hit the links over Easter break, but I got rained out. But we won't rain you out, as we are bringing the heat with the top 5 plays up next. Stay tuned here on CSC.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're hopping right in to the top 5 plays of the week. Number 5, women's lacrosse versus Detroit Mercy. Julia Haddon finds Eliana Lemang for the goal. Her first of the season. Colonials take advantage of the player-up situation and try to chip away at that deficit against Detroit Mercy. As you see there, Julia Haddon finds Eliana Lemang. She scores her first of the season.
Yeah, good job attacking that middle that they haven't seemed to do. But we hop to number 4 and talk about attacking. Freshman River Udmul with the ripper for his first collegiate goal. He would tag on a second on the day.
Number 3, we're sticking with men's lacrosse against Mercer. 2 words, David Burr. This is going to be his 4th goal of the game in the Colonials' win over Mercer, 15-7. Just take another look at it. A huge day from David Burr.
We're moving on to softball at the NAC, and we'll take a look at this liner into right field. It goes to Logan Black with the cannon to Charlotte Grover and tagging the runner who was aggressively trying to get to third. Take another look at this play. Just perfect execution and teamwork by the Colonials defense, and 6-game winning streak because of plays like that.
Number 1, we're sticking with softball. Colonials up 2-1. Here's the pitch. Going to be a little dribbler to second base. Diving stop by Anna Resnick. Flips to second from the ground for the fielder's choice. Everybody's hyped about it. Just a awesome play by Anna Resnick from the ground, and that is your number 1 play of the week. That's going to do it for this edition of Colonial Sports Center. I'm Kevin Plaucha.
I'm Kay Macariola.